Really on a story that was the first time you'd ever seen Lombard, and obviously it's kind of a...
Yeah, no, I've never seen him fight. I've never met him, and I was struck by how short he was, you know. And people saying he's going to be the next player, Anderson Silva. Come on, there's just no fight Anderson Silva, you know, because Anderson Silva's game, he uses his range and uses it fantastically, and I think it'd just be a terrible matchup for Hector Lombard. He wouldn't get anywhere near him.
You said you've never seen any of his other fights, though?
I haven't seen his fights, no. I'll be honest, you know. It's hard work keeping up with the UFC. There's that many events these days. I don't have time to watch Bellator, you know. So, and that's not, you know, any disrespect to any of the fighters involved with it or the show. I just haven't seen it.
One of those is playing, right?
Yeah, one of them is slightly distracted. Is it that one? It's playing.
Wanted to hear somebody
there you
else
go.
talk.
Yeah, no, of course.
Do you think that would apply to you, like, as your matchup as well? I mean, obviously, you addressed it. People say, you know, you don't have the power. You don't have the power.
Sure.
But do you think, you know, if it does end up being Lombard at some point in time?
Yeah, listen, if it ends up being Lombard, I have no problem with that. If he wins, as I said before, you know, it's a business and that's a marketable fight. You know, he's on a big win streak, etc. He's a champ from another organisation. Business-wise, I suppose it's a fight they can market. So what was the question?
Just if you thought that the matchup would play that way as well, like the range would be a problem for him. Even with the power.
I think it'd be a huge problem for him. If he does get the fight, he certainly isn't going to beat him. You know, I just don't think it matches up well for him. And you know, let's see how he does in the UFC anyway. You know, he's been beating guys in Bellator and beating a bunch of nobodies. Yeah. Pardon the expression. You know, but I don't know anybody that he's beaten. So yeah.
Are you worried at all that you know, should the winner of Lombard Boats probably get a shot at Weidman and sort of bypass you and move you a little bit?
Do you know what? No, I'm not. No, I'm fighting Brian Stann. It's a big fight, you know. I think, I mean, obviously there's a title fight on the card in Toronto, but I think probably the main attraction is going to be me and Brian Stann, you know. So if I beat Brian Stann, I've been told anyway, if I beat Brian Stann and I beat him well, I'll get a title shot. But I haven't got it in writing, so it probably doesn't mean anything.
Would you be disappointed if you had to take another fight after Brian Stann?
Yeah, I would be. You know, I mean, because obviously, you know, I believe in myself, and you know, I believe I can continue to keep winning. But it's not easy, you know. So I want to get my title shot. I've been around the UFC since 2005. You know, I've been consistently fighting the best. I haven't been fighting guys in Bellator. I've been fighting guys in the UFC and a lot of big names. And you know, I want my shot. You know, so after I beat Brian Stann, you know, I think I deserve it. You know, the fight with Chael was really close. I think I won that fight. A lot of other people did. So I'd be on a 6-fight win streak. You know, I think that's deserving of a title shot. But as I say, it's down to the UFC and whatever they choose to do. You know, that's you know, I'll support that decision basically.
And you fought a lot of ground fighters recently, jiu-jitsu guys, wrestlers. I think the consensus among a lot of people is that you actually are the better ground fighter than Brian Stann. Would you? Kind of thinking
I'd agree with that. Yeah, definitely. I think the weakness Brian's shown is his wrestling and jiu-jitsu. You know, he got submitted by Phil Davis and Chael Sonnen. So yeah, I think I have an advantage there. He's probably got an advantage in the sheer power. You know, he's a very, very powerful fighter. He hits hard. Seems to have a good chin as well, and apparently, by all accounts, he's very, very strong. Certainly looks it. So it's going to be a tough fight. I'm going to go out. The fight starts on its feet, and you know, that's where he's the most dangerous, and that's probably where most of the fight's going to take place. If there's an opportunity to take him down, of course I'll do that, you know. But same as every fight, I'm going to go out there and try and punch him in the face as many times as possible.
Do you ever see yourself getting a rematch with Chael Sonnen, or is that in your interest down the road?
Yeah, I mean, now we just lost, it's less appealing. But yeah, I want to rematch all the guys that I've lost to, and you know, apart from Dan Henderson, they've all been razor-close, controversial decisions, and yeah, I'd definitely fight Chael again. You know, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that fight. Didn't go my way on the night. It could have easily gone my way, but it didn't. And yeah, I'd love to fight him again sometime.
So would that put Henderson on the top of your rematch?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. You know, I definitely want to fight Henderson again. I learned so much from that loss. You know, and the way I overtrained so badly for that fight. I know it sounds like an excuse, but. Oh, I was so thin, and every time going to the gym, because I just thought train hard, and now as I've got older and more experience, you know, I'm aware I was overtraining and doing too much, and sometimes less is more.
Well, we've talked about injuries with this card. That's been the main topic.
Sure.
Would you say a lot of fighters are overtraining these days, or not training smart enough? Because you're one of those.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first time I've had surgery. I've had injuries before in the past, but this time, you know, my leg was locking up. I couldn't move it at all, and then the next minute, I just completely collapsed. And I had a torn meniscus and 2 loose pieces of cartilage floating around inside my leg, and they had to get taken out, and the meniscus had to get repaired. And so I couldn't fight, and you know, I was devastated about that. But so what was the question?
Do you think fighters these days are overtraining, and that's why we've
not
seen
necessarily,
so many?
maybe not overtraining. You know, it's just that, you know, the sport's so big now, you know, and there's so many opportunities, and it's very lucrative financially. You know, people are going to do everything they can in their power to train hard, and a lot of people want to get to the top, and you know, they want to be the champ, and you know, so they're going to do everything they can, and maybe overtraining or training with the best guys. You know, I mean, every time you turn up to training, if you're training with other UFC fighters, it's almost like a UFC fight night every day in the gym. You know, and so inevitably, people are going to get injured here and there.
You ran into Hector Lombard in the elevator. You were saying in the Q&A, and you had some choice things to say about him. They're pretty funny. But does he actually rub you the wrong way?
No, I've never had a conversation with the guy. I said hello, shook his hand, and he tried his best to like be, you know, and squeeze my hand off and all the rest. I'm like, come on, bro, we're in the elevator. You know, just get over it. How you doing? Nice to meet you. You know, so that was kind of the response I got. So yeah, it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe that's just the way he is. You know, but wasn't the most personable person. And by all accounts, he's a bit of a dick in the gym. Tries to knock people out all the time. That's what I hear. He's a bit of an asshole in the gym, so there's no need for that.
If you are to get a title shot,
but why is I'm being forced to talk shit about Hector Lombard? I don't even know the guy. I've never seen him fight. It's all you guys making me do it. He's definitely going to be calling me out after this. I want Anderson Silva, not Hector Lombard, but I'm definitely talking myself into a fight with him. You know?
What do you think of the chances that you could talk your way into getting a title shot in England when you get it?
Oh, 0. You know, I would. That would be my dream, to fight for the title in England. But it's you know, we don't have a pay-per-view culture in England. Simple as that. And Anderson, you know, the way he's, you know, he gets a percentage of the pay-per-view. You know, so he's not going to want to fight in England because there is no pay-per-view bonus for him. You know, and I think it's as simple as that, really.
You seem like you're real laid back and you're not putting too much pressure on yourself, but with the division getting a lot of new blood and you being so close to a couple title shots earlier on, do you start to feel that pressure where I've been close and now I got to get it this time? I can't afford another loss.
Yeah, you know, I mean, listen, the reason I haven't had a title shot is my fault. You know, I've been in #1 contender matchups a couple of times and I've lost those. So I can't blame the UFC. It's down to me. I lost a couple of key matchups. You know, I'm 33 now. I feel I'm in my prime, and